my name's Jake and welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to be doing a video that I haven't done before in the past, and I'm going to be talking about my favorite graphic novels and manga series. Graphic novels and manga are something I read a lot. I usually read at least like 3 a month. One of my goals for 2020 is going to be to read a lot more. I want to start having separate wrap-ups for my graphic novels and mangas and my books. So today I'm just going to be talking about some of my favorite series in both of them. So I have 6 graphic novel series to talk about and 9 manga series. I do have a preference for manga over graphic novels, but I enjoy both. Doesn't matter to me. I'll read both. The rules for this video is I'm only going to be talking about series that I've read 2 or more volumes in. So there's a lot of series that I have that I've only read the first volume, but I'm not going to talk about those just because I don't know if I love the series since I've only read the first 2 volumes, or the first volume, so this is only about series that I've read more than 1 volume in. Okay, I hope I'm making sense. I'm sporting my Scream shirt in lieu of the good news about Scream 5 that I've been waiting for because, in my opinion, Scream 4 is one of the best Scream movies. So, I want more. It's upsetting that Wes Craven is going to be attached because he passed away, but I have high hopes. But that's not what this video is about, so I'm just going to jump into it. I'm going to start with the graphic novel series, then I'll talk about the manga. So the first graphic novel series I'm going to talk about is probably my least favorite out of everything in this video, but I did enjoy it in the first couple volumes, and that is Suicide Squad. There are only a total of 6 volumes, I believe, of Suicide Squad in the New 52. There's a bunch of different renditions of Suicide Squad, but the only one I've read is the New 52 version, which a lot of people aren't a fan of, so take that with what you will, but I am a huge fan of villains. I like DC and Marvel, but I always prefer the villains in those franchises, so I had to pick up Suicide Squad. I personally enjoyed the Suicide Squad movie. I know that's an unpopular opinion, but I did. So I decided to read the series, and I've read 4 of the 6, I believe. And I really enjoyed the first 2, and I really hated 3 and 4. So I'm throwing this recommendation in there, loosely, because I don't think most people would enjoy this, but if you think you will, go ahead and check it out. Well, the other DC series I have in here is a hardcore recommendation. If you like superheroes in any way, I highly recommend you read the DC Bombshells series. So this follows all the DC superhero women back in World War II, and they're all kind of these pinup versions of them, but not too overly sexualized. It's not like that. This is actually written by all women, I believe. Yes, it's written by women. So it's great. I love the art. Ooh, Stargirl, one of my faves. So it follows them basically fighting crime back in World War II, and it is amazing. I own the first 5, but I've read the first 3, and all 3 of them got 5 stars, which, when it comes to superhero comics, it is hard for me to give them 5 stars, but I absolutely adored these. Next up is the only middle grade series in this video, and that is the Amulet series. I read this series back when I was in elementary school. I think upper elementary school, I'm not completely sure, but it is stuck. I decided a couple years ago to purchase them and reread them, and I've read the first 4 volumes so far. I believe there's 9, 10, or 11, and I love them still. They still hold up. This is, even though it's a middle grade series, it is good for everyone. It is super complex, there's a lot of story in here, and it's amazing. And once again, the artwork is so cute. Look at that little creature. Look at that blob thing. I love it, but highly recommend Amulet. This next graphic novel series is a very popular one, and it is my all-time favorite graphic novel series. It actually has a show based on it, and it is The Walking Dead. Listen, I know the show went downhill, but this graphic novel series, there's 32 volumes. The 32 volume was unfortunately the last volume. I was hoping it would go on longer, but I get it. It had to be wrapped up at some point. But I adored it from beginning to end. Well, the last volume was a little questionable, but I still enjoyed it. But for those that somehow don't know what The Walking Dead is about, it follows just a group of survivors in the zombie apocalypse. And yeah, this is the best graphic novel series I've ever read. The graphic novels are 10 times better than the show, by a lot. And actually, since we're talking about The Walking Dead Telltale games, I believe there's 4 seasons of it. That's better than the show too. Play it. So, but yeah, The Walking Dead. The next series I have to talk about is Revival. I have only read the first 2 volumes of this, so this just makes it into my rules for this video. But this follows a town in which people are dying, like usual, not at an alarming rate, they're just dying, but somehow they're coming back to life. And some of them are coming back with murderous tendencies. Not all of them. Like, some of them are coming back like they're a normal person. But some of them are coming back and, you know, like, trying to murder people and shit. But this is a very dark series. I've only read the first 2 volumes. I know they talked about they were making a show for this. I don't know if they ended up making it and it already came out and I'm just not aware, or if it's coming out, but it's supposed to be happening. I believe it's being made by the same people that do The Walking Dead. This is an Image comic as well, but it's good. It's not my favorite on this list, but I do recommend it, especially if you like dark noir type stuff. This is a good one. The last graphic novel series on this list, probably my second favorite right behind The Walking Dead, is Saga. Everyone knows what Saga is, especially on BookTube. It's so popular on BookTube. It's popular outside of BookTube, obviously, too, but everyone, even people that don't read graphic novels on BookTube, have probably read Saga. But just as a little rundown, this follows a couple, each of them from 2 different planets that are at war, and they're in love, and they have a baby, and it's from the perspective of the baby telling this story. And I've read the first 5 volumes, yes, the first 5 volumes, and I think every one of them but one got 5 stars. Like, this series is amazing. I highly suggest it. There is explicit content in there, there's nudity, there's a lot of blood and gore, but if you can handle that, I highly suggest reading it. I don't care if you don't like fantasy, you might still like this. It's so good. And now we're going to move on to the 9 manga series that I'm going to recommend. So this first manga series I'm recommending is another one that you all know, you all probably love, but it's not my favorite. I enjoy it. Well, okay, I'll talk about it. Let me show you what it is first. It's Death Note. I have read the first 2 volumes of this omnibus, which I believe are, so volumes 1 and 2 are in here, and then volumes 3 and 4 are in the second one. So I've read the first 4 volumes, technically. And I really didn't like the first 2, but I did really like the second 2. So I don't know where I'm going to really fall in this series overall. My only gripe with it is I don't like its treatment of the female characters. I feel like every girl in this series is just used as a plot device to further the story of the male characters, and I don't like that. So that's my biggest gripe with it, but I'm hoping it might be fixed in the future volumes. Who knows? But Death Note, you guys all know it. So this next one is one that you've heard me talk about on this channel multiple times, and that is the Again series. This one is about a high schooler. He is in his senior year of graduation. I believe it's the day of his graduation, but an accident happens, and he ends up waking up on the first day of freshman year again. So he has to redo high school all over again, which he's not necessarily upset about. It gives him a chance to redo everything because he never really made any friends. He never did anything in high school. So this basically just follows him restarting his high school experience. This personally is a solid 3-star series for me, but I do think it has its audience. Like, I'm enjoying it, don't get me wrong. I read the first 4 volumes and I have the 5th volume, but it's not going the way I thought it would. But I do still recommend it because I believe the majority of people would enjoy it. I really like the art in here too. But yeah, so again, this next one is the only manga series I have that's 100% like real life, contemporary, I guess, and that is the 10 Count series. This one I'm gonna give a few warnings on. So this basically follows our main character who has OCD, I believe, and his therapist and their relationship. And they do start to have a sexual relationship. I decided to pick it up. I don't remember who. Someone on BookTube I was watching and they recommended the series. They said they really enjoyed it. So I picked up the first 3 volumes and I read the first 2. I loved the first volume. I gave it 5 stars. I didn't care for the second volume as much because there is a non-consensual sex scene in it. So I'm hoping that's going to be fixed in the 3rd volume. But who knows? We'll see when I read it. But just go into this knowing that. But I don't know if I mentioned it's gay. Both the main characters are guys. But it's a little questionable in the 2nd volume. I'm hoping it'll be fixed. I don't know. My favorite genre of manga is horror, so the next 6 are all horror series. First up, I have the one that I probably read the longest time ago, and that is Doubt. Am I holding this the right way? Well, it's sideways, but it's Doubt, and I have the first 2 volumes of this, and these are big boys, like, they're big. But this basically follows this group of people. They all are obsessed with this game called Rabbit Doubt or something like that, and the game is basically about there's a bunch of rabbits, but one of them is really a wolf, and the wolf's job is to go and kill these rabbits, and like you're supposed to hide the fact that you're the wolf. Well, all these people that play it decide to have a meetup, like to meet their online friends, and they end up in a real life version of this game. They're put into an abandoned warehouse and they have to survive. One of them amongst them is the killer, and they're picking them off one by one. I don't understand how the series works. I have the first 2 volumes and I've read the first 2 volumes, but the story wraps up at the end of the second volume. I don't know if the 3rd and 4th volume follow another set of people or how that works. I do plan on reading them soon, so I will let you guys know. But the first 2 volumes of this were both 5 stars. I absolutely loved them. I'm definitely going to reread them because it was so long ago that I read them that I need to refresh my mind, but this might be one of my favorite manga series. So another 5-star manga series is Corpse Party Blood Covered. Once again, I have the first 2 volumes of this. I don't know if they're omnibuses or if they're just really big, but this is definitely my favorite manga horror series. Like, I love this series so much. You guys might know what Corpse Party is. It's based off of a very, very popular game, which then became a manga, which then became an anime. I might have got that order wrong. Either way, it has a lot of different media that you can do it from. I know the game was the first one. I know this started off as a game. But this follows a group of high school students. One of them is moving away, so they decide to have like a friendship pact in this classroom. So while they're doing this friendship pact, they somehow summon a portal, I guess, which takes them to, they're in the same school. Well, no, they're in a different school, but it's not in the same universe that they're used to. And in this school, it's full of ghosts of kids that were killed in the school, a bunch of ghosts of different killers and different things. And basically, these teenagers have to survive this, like, elementary school that they were brought to after doing their friendship pact. And holy hell, this is the most gory series I have ever read in my life. If you like gore, I highly recommend this. But even beyond that, this is just a good series in general. The story's really good. The characters are good. There are some tropes in here that are a little like over the top. But once again, this is like, the game's pretty old, I believe. So yeah, but I highly recommend this. This is my favorite manga series. This next one is a fun one. It's actually pretty weird. My sister got me it for Christmas, and I read it, and I ended up enjoying it. But it's called High Rise Invasion. This is an omnibus of volumes 1 and 2, so I'm counting this, even though I only have this one copy. But I read the first 2 volumes. Basically, this just follows this girl that wakes up on top of these skyscrapers, and she's like, what the fuck is happening? And she realizes there's these masked, like, killers. Like, there's a little picture of him, and there's kind of the art in there. But there's these masked killers that are basically just hunting these other people down that were also trapped in the building. So she has to survive and kind of like figure out what is happening. Why are these people hunting for her? Why are they trying to kill them? And it's a survival story. There's really no point to the actual story. Like, the plot is very simple. As of now, at the end of the second volume, it did start to go a little more into why this is all happening. But I enjoy it. It was like mindless horror. I gave it a 4-star. Really good. I do want to read the rest of the series. I believe there's 10 volumes out, so like 5 of these bind-ups. And they're all on Book Outlet, so go and check out Book Outlet if you're interested in the series. I do want to try and get all the rest of them off of there, but we'll see what happens. So this next series is another one that started off really strong for me, but then started going really downhill, and it's very hit or miss with the volumes I'm on now, but it is Deadman Wonderland. I have the first 9 volumes. I've only read through volume 7, but this follows this high school student who is accused of murdering a classroom full of people, even though he didn't, so he's taken to this prison. And this prison is basically a carnival. Like, the public pay to come and watch these prisoners, have to do different competitions, and the losers die. There's a lot going on in this. There's an aspect to this where a lot of these people have supernatural abilities, and they're put in rings where they have to fight each other. And like I said, it started off really strong, but as I get further into the series, I'm starting to enjoy it less and less. I believe there's only 13 volumes, and I'm on 7, so I'm about halfway done with the series. But I'm gonna finish, but it just started off, see how you feel about it. You might enjoy it more when it gets into the future. It's a pretty big series, so you probably have heard of it, especially if you're into anime or manga. The next one's a zombie series, and that's High School of the Dead. I own the first 3 volumes, and I've read all 3 of them, so I really need to continue the series too. But this basically just follows a high school, the zombie apocalypse happens, and all the students basically have to, like, fight these zombies. Only the first half of the, like, first volume set in the high school, which I kind of wish there was more in the high school because that interests me, but whatever. So this basically just follows a bunch of high school students and some teachers trying to, like, survive in the zombie apocalypse. This series is very sexual. Like, once again, it's no secret that manga series usually over-sexualize female characters, and this one hardcore falls into that category. The second volume especially, I know there's a whole scene just of most of the girls in the series nude, just taking baths together. But if you look past this, But if you look past that, it's actually a really good series, and yeah, the third volume. I watched the anime, but the anime only has one series before I read the manga, and the manga series goes past where the anime ends, which I'm happy about because the anime ends in a place where you're like, there should be more. So I'm basically just getting into where the anime ends, so I'm just getting into new story, and I really want the fourth volume, so it's a really good series. I highly recommend it. And then finally, one of my favorite manga series, and one of the most surprising ones that I did not think I was going to enjoy this going into it, but it is Magical Girl Apocalypse. I have read the first 8 volumes of the series, and this basically follows an apocalypse in which these magical girls, who each have these wands, come down and wreak havoc on the human race. There's different types, like this girl on the cover, she basically has this wand that once she shoots you with it, like it puts a hole in your body. Some of them, there's this like one magnet bitch that she like can bring everyone to the sky and then drops them. It's a bunch of different people. There's a really strong one that basically just smashes everyone to a pulp. It's a really good series. It sounds weird, trust. Even when I went into this, I did not have high hopes, but I gave the first few at least 5 stars. Once again, this does have a lot of over-sexualization of the female characters, and there's a pedophile in it, so there's a warning about that. But yeah, it's a really good series. I really enjoy it, and I don't know if it's necessarily for everybody, but give it a shot if you're a little bit interested. I've never seen anyone booktube read this, and I think you should. That is all of the series of graphic novels and manga that I am in the middle of that I recommend. There are other series that I have read or am reading, even a couple of them that I don't recommend because they're not very good. I'm hoping they'll get better, and I already bought some more, so it's like, you know the deal. But that's everything that I highly recommend you guys check out. This is, like I said before, I really want to start reading more graphic novels and manga in 2020. So expect more videos just about that. Let me know down below if you want to if you want me to make a TBR version of this where I talk about series I own that I haven't started yet, because I would be more than willing to do that. If you enjoyed this, like and subscribe, the usual, the works, everything, Support me. I need it. Leave me a comment down below about your favorite manga or graphic novel series. Bonus points if it's horror, because like I said, I love it. Like, I do have some horror series I haven't started yet, like I have Junji Ito, I know that's not a series, but I have Uzumaki. I have Umineko, Tokyo Ghoul, I don't know if it's really horror, but I have the first couple volumes. Undead Messiah. I'm gonna stop just naming off random things that I own. Let me know down below anything you recommendation. But until next time, I will see you guys later, and I'm gonna go and eat. Bye!